Hey Mo, we need to get an intro down for this channel, you know.
Yeah, but what are you thinking, Lee?
Why don't I rap over the top of it?
Don't be ridiculous. You sound like a northern Eminem.
Look, listen to me. Yo, yo, yo. The Munch Brunch in the hoose, man.
Absolutely not.
Right, what you got in mind?
Let's just keep it simple.
I'm Lee.
I'm Aim.
We're the Munch Bunch.
Hi everybody and welcome back to another Mukbang with Aim and Lee. We are the Munch Punch UK. Cheers, do a cup of tea. Tell them what we have on the menu today, Lee.
We have a English, there's now black pudding, or mushrooms.
Which are our least favourite items on there.
It's like our version of an English breakfast anyway. So we've got sausage, we've got poached egg rather than fried, 2 hash brown, bacon, baked beans. Aim has a grilled, is it grilled or fried it? So it's not really grilled. Fried tomato. And
bread.
everything I've got some bread over here. Buttered. Aim's isn't buttered.
No, don't. See, that is such a divide with that. Do you have a bacon sandwich buttered or not? My family never ever had it buttered.
I have butter on pretty much any bread item I have, whether it be burgers, not on hot dogs, but on burgers.
Even like a bun on a burger, you have that?
Yeah, on a burger, I would have, like we're on burgers later, I'll have my bun buttered, but I won't have it on a hot dog, because that's just wrong. Unless it's a real sausage, like a hot dog with a real sausage, then I'd have ketchup on it.
Sausage sandwiches as well. We don't. No.
That's just wrong. Salt.
I've used it.
Oh. Got some ketchup here, guys. I've got some brune sauce, which she hasn't put on yet. Oh, sorry. How are we all doing?
This is my favourite. HP.
Yeah, I'm choosing Lidl's down here, guys. Because we get through quite a bit of ketchup, or I do anyways. So I don't see the point in buying Heinz. Plus, I'm not a fan of Heinz.
No, I can only have like branded, like HP. Can't stand that daddy stuff. Even you don't like it, do you? With tomato ketchup.
I have, when it comes to like baked beans, these are Branston, because I thought Aim's mum was having some, that's the one she likes. But I'm happy with Asda baked beans. Give me that any day over Heinz baked beans.
We're not necessarily fussy. That's the question I want to ask you guys. Do you prefer branded stuff, or can you manage on like Lidl's own, Asda's own, Sainsbury's own? There are certain things that I can only have. So, for example, I will use the brown sauce from other places if I have to, but I do prefer that, and Coleman's mustard. I have to have branded Coleman's mustard.
I think a lot of people found out during COVID and lockdown and whatnot that non-branded stuff ain't always that bad. I got a lot of people was very fussy. Yeah. And then obviously because of maybe there was furloughed or there wasn't a lot of options, was it? At one point, I was going out buying tins of curry. We've never eaten them. We actually have them in the cupboard still. But it was the only thing left in the shops. Yeah. When everyone was rushing out buying all the tins, I rushed out. I was like, Aim, all they got is mushy peas and tins of curry. Should buy them. We'll make a meal. Right, okay.
Do you know what? My nonna used to say, if you've got a tin of baked beans or a bag of potatoes, you've got a meal. Or a loaf of bread, I don't know what it was, but... So,
well, not loaf
do you something like that? You wouldn't know, because it was my nan.
Yeah, but you can't have a meal out of a loaf of bread.
Beans on toast. And that's what she'd say. But, so would you guys prefer branded things? We don't, do we, at all?
Not fussy arses. But it has been a while. Aim's mum, actually, she's a fussy arse. Your mum, oh, what a nightmare. Has to be Lurpak, no other butter will do.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Has to be a certain sausage, no other sausage will do. She's very picky.
Is it because of branding? That's because of the gristle inside of it.
I don't know.
If my mum has a bit of that and it's got anything bad in it, like hard, she can't eat the rest of it. And we have a brand here called, is it Gills?
Gills.
Yeah, that's the one my mum has, and it's a brand in the Midlands area, and that's the only one she'll eat.
That's sausage, that is.
Yeah.
If you're from the Midlands, you've probably had Gills sausages before.
No, I'm not.
I'd say it's Gills. It's one of them ones. Unless you actually met Mr. Gill, it could actually be Jill.
It's Gills.
It might be a woman called Jill who set up her own sausage company years ago, and we wouldn't know. Yeah, my mum's name.
Yeah, it's definitely Gills.
But I keep saying, like, we have been gone for a while, so we're hope everyone's well. Siren going past, so that's not anything too bad. We've been busy, guys. We've been really busy last couple of weeks. tomorrow, my dad goes in for surgery for cancer.
So he's having a big part of the bowel took away.
Remove. I only mention that because a few of you in the past have asked how my dad's getting on with his illness, because we have mentioned it months ago. It's not something we're going to talk about. It's
about a whole year, hasn't it, really? He started having the symptoms in last August.
Was it all? You've got a better memory than me.
Last August. And he sort of discovered it around the October time.
If you ask me, it's no wonder. I mean, it sounds terrible to say, but it's no wonder more people who have cancer don't die. A lot of people die of cancer, obviously. I lost an uncle to cancer, and I'm sure a lot of you have lost loved ones to cancer. But for how long it takes them to do all about it, I mean, he's had his chemo and his radiotherapy, but the surgery took, he knew he had to have surgery about 3 months ago. And yet they just go, we'll wait and see. We'll come back in 3 months and we'll talk about the surgery. If I know I've got cancer, which I might have one day, God forbid I do, but it's a possibility, and they tell me I've got to wait 3 months, that must be the hardest 3 months, or however long.
Put it this way, I always think the waiting is the hardest part. However, you have got to see if the chemo works before surgery even comes into play sometimes. Sometimes it is just straightforward surgery, cut it out and that. But with secondary cancer, when it's like metastasised, in other words, you have to wait for the chemo. And
but they said, well, my dad told me, I spoke to him 2 days ago. He's a nice sausage, guys. He's from Lidl. Outdoor bred pork sausage. You get them as a triple arter, so it's quite skinny. We'll get these ones.
Let's do sausage review of the day.
Yeah. Well, you kind of need a few, don't you? It's a nice thick sausage.
Yeah, that's nice to be fair.
Considering like a lot of sausages go skinny when you've cooked them, these just kept their thickness.
Carry on what you were saying.
So I spoke to her a couple of nights ago on Sunday night, and we don't talk a lot on the phone just because we're always busy and whatever. Anyways,
it's not one of them ones, is it, where you do that a lot?
No, usually through WhatsApp. But we rang each other on Sunday, and he was ready for this surgery and stuff. He says, you know what they do? I said, what do they do, Dad? Obviously, I'm not good with medical stuff. I don't like watching it. AIM has a thing like it over the years. My dad was the same when I was a kid. There was always an hospital programme, not Casualty of Holby City, like Children's Hospital and stuff like that. My dad loved to watch anything like that. And I was always quite cringy, like if there's somebody being cut open in a surgery.
I'm a bit squeamish, but I do like to know.
24 hours in A&E, I can't watch that. When they start doing the surgery part, I'm like, ugh. And he says, yeah, what they do for this sort of surgery is they put you on a table, tip you upside down, so you're vertical, or
it's like
horizontal.
Backwards, yeah.
It's vertical, not horizontal. And then it's so all the bits they don't need when they're doing the surgery, like your intestines, they all just drop out. I guess they then do the surgery that way or something. I'm like, that's too much information, Dad. I think you should film a lot. Stick it on YouTube.
But it is a long surgery. It's a 5-hour surgery, and basically they've got to take a lot away and stuff. So, and then they'll have to wait and have more scans to see if it's worked. And it's a long process, to be honest.
Up to 10 days in hospital. That's if it goes well, and then a further 8 weeks just not doing a bloody thing.
And he cannot do that.
No, it will struggle, but.
It doesn't matter, we will have to just sit down and
That's what I'm saying, he's got no choice, we'll have to just sit and do sod all. Suits some people could get a bit restless, like your dad would be a pain in the arse if he had that sort of surgery. You won't be able to stop your dad wanting to do stuff.
No.
But positively, they are positive that it'll all go well, and that's it. So he's in there tomorrow, gets surgery on Wednesday. Give us a call Wednesday afternoon. I said, once you're up and about and you actually, you're not so groggy, give us a bell and say, yep, done. No, happy days, Dad.
You see, a lot of the things like that as well, it's when they get in there, when they get inside, to see if everything's okay as well. So, it's never just as straightforward as, he's in surgery, that's it, bish bosh, job done. They have to see what's happened when they're helping you up and stuff. But it's a good thing. We're very lucky actually that he's in there, because with yourself with COVID, surgeries have been put back, haven't they?
Yeah, I spoke to his wife Jodie, my stepmom, who's actually younger than me. Figured that one out. I spoke to her when they found out what day the surgery was going to be, because it was meant to be a few weeks ago and got put back by a few weeks due to something or other. And I said, bloody hell, it's about time, innit? It's about time we got surgery done. I said, Lee, you'll be surprised. I said, what do you mean, George? I said, there are people who've been waiting, like, since the beginning of the year, bearing in mind we're now in September, said, and they've still not even seen the doctor just to discuss their cancer, let alone have any, chemo, radiotherapy or surgery. They're not even actually been in to speak to the doctors yet, because they're that far behind. But my dad's at the time, right at the beginning, was quite, so sort of pushed through a bit quicker, I think. But anyway, on to more positive news. I actually had a story, but it's not very positive, actually. It's quite bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So this, obviously, have you heard about the floods and stuff in, what the hell's it called now? In America? You know, that big tornado come through?
Oh, yeah. Right, but I don't know where it is.
Oh, flipping heck. Where they play all the music. It's a big music, play a lot of jazz and stuff.
In New Orleans?
Yeah. Do you want your bread?
Mm-mm.
In New Orleans, there's like, had a really bad weather thing, haven't they? It's like not a tsunami, a tornado or a hurricane. And hurricanes come through and left like loads of water everywhere. Like big,
that's terrible.
You know, big floods of water and stuff. This man was wading through the water trying to, I don't know, I guess get from A to B or find something in the water. He was outside his home. Now New Orleans is like there's a lot of glades around there, I think. I'm only making this stuff up as I go along. A lot of alligators anyway. So this man's already out there in the middle of this bloody water, and an alligator's come along and bit his arm off, and then he's not been seen since.
Oh no.
His wife's seen it happening from what I've heard. She's seen the alligator bite his arm off, and then
he disappeared.
Not seen him since.
See, this is the thing, isn't it? It's like there was this guy that I watch, and he's moved to Cyprus at the moment, and I see him on Facebook, and he had like a, what do they call it, a praying mantis on the door, on the gate, and I was thinking, you know, like we're quite lucky in England not to have all these huge lizards.
I've never known Cyprus to have anything too bad, like when I went on holiday.
Oh no, I don't mean that. I mean like just mad insects.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky that we don't have them things. So I mean, I'm not being funny. If there was an alligator going down the street.
I do remember as a kid, I was again in Cyprus. I do remember seeing lizards once or twice running in and out of the drains and up and down the streets. Like, bloody hell, that's crazy. That's really fun because you're a kid. But now as an adult, if I saw it, I'd probably be quite scared. Whereas as a kid, you're like, well, hey, lizards. And I was like, well, hey.
Well, no, it's Tunisia. I think, you was only young when you went there, weren't you?
8, I think, I guess.
I was about 15, 16. The lizards there were insane. Honestly. They were everywhere.
Mm.
Looking back now, like, you know, like people emigrate to like Australia and stuff. I wonder what it's actually like to live there with all them deadly spiders and...
Quite bloody scary, I should think,
Like, I've seen it on the internet, like, there'll be like a man sitting out on the terrace or patio area, and the dog's there, and the dog's trying to protect the man from like deadly snakes and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we watched
They scare me, snakes.
We watched it a while ago, me and Andy. We heard about it, I did, I think, on a Joe Rogan podcast. I told Aim.
We did.
I heard about it on a Joe Rogan podcast. And I told Aim about it, and we was like, let's search it on YouTube. We don't normally bother searching for stuff that other people talk about, but we did. And it was this man, he was just out for a run, like in the mountains or somewhere like that, in California.
I remember
he starts being chased by, what
not some sort of cat, was it?
A mountain lion, they're called.
Yeah, they're big though. They've got like, they look like small, imagine sort of like a cheetah size, bit smaller but like with fluffy ears in it, like them.
Scary bloody thing. So,
just the name alone's enough to put you off.
So he's filming it, this lion, and he's walking backwards, and this lion's just walking really flipping slow.
Yeah, like as much to say, you move or turn, I'm going to come for you.
Yeah, he didn't dare turn around. He was like, look, you go your way, I'm going mine. I'll go this way, just go home. And it's what it was, it turned out he'd been running, got a bit close to her and her cubs, and she went into protective mode.
Wasn't her fault.
She thought he was a danger, so started literally stalking him for about 15 minutes up this mountain. I say a mountain, like up a slope, up a hill. And he couldn't turn backwards, so for all he knew, he could trip over something. And
not only that, you don't want to take your eye off that thing.
No, not at all. It would walk slow, like, imagine like this is its legs, like, be like that, really slow. And it'd make a racket, this funky noise and start running. It's like
and then he kind of like shot up the hill a bit.
Remember though, it's like just sort of like say it's like shoot out to the side.
You know the pounce like, and then like.
I've never seen out like it.
It gives me sort of palpitations just watching it. I'll be brutally honest with you.
It was chasing him for a good 15 minutes, like slow walk, and then a sprint, and the bot would run backwards, and then another slow walk.
It knew exactly what it was doing. And do you know what? It's brilliant, isn't it? If you actually put that into perspective, like animal instinct to go into protection mode for their cubs and stuff, it's actually really good.
I was seeing yesterday on TikTok, there was a leopard, like you know what a leopard looks like, and it actually had, a leopard's the patterned ones, is that a panther? Cheetah.
Cheetah's the one like leopard print.
Leopard. It's a cheetah, I think it was.
No, leopards do have it as well. That cause it's called leopard print.
Yeah, well I think it was a cheetah or a
like
leopard.
Gold, you like black circles. Yeah.
Over that it was just a big tabby cat. One of it was a big sodding cat anyway, and it was by like a river or something. And it was somebody was filming. I don't know if they was brave after this. And it had in its mouth an alligator,
oh my God.
and it was carrying it up out of the river, up like a riverbank. It was just dragging this alligator up there. I was like, that cheetah's gone in the river, killed an alligator, and now it's just dragging it away.
Oh God.
I ain't messing with that cheetah. I'm like, Mr. Cheetah, you can have your alligator. I'm going off to KFC. I'll leave you be.
Them alligators are, when they get you, they spin you, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They turn you around and I'll flip you over and...
I used to watch a thing about these blokes. It's called, I don't know what it's called. It's on one of the channels on Sky or something. It was all about these blokes, and they go out, and every year it's like Deadliest Catch, but they went out catching alligators, and they put these nets down, and these alligators will be caught up in these nets, and they kill them, and then they like sell the skin or whatever the hell it is.
God.
And it's a big thing in America. But the blokes get out they're on these little tiny boats, no big like a canoe or whatever, and they'd go in the water where these alligators, and they'd be up to like their chest, and they'd stick their hand down there like, yep, there's an alligator down here.
I've seen that. That's crazy.
I don't even go in the sea where I might stand on a bloody pebble or a tadpole.
I am freaked out by things that I can't see. Like, you know, when me and my uncle, we went into the sea in Greece, and you walk out, and he was like, oh yeah, you'd love this, because they do it now, obviously, in shops. All the fish would come and, like...
Eat your feet.
Yeah, like, get all your dead skin off. He thought it was fantastic. People pay for that, obviously. Me, I think... I don't want no fish eating my feet.
Well, you know what my feet look like. You know there's no chance in hell any fish wants to come near my feet.
The fish would die.
They'd run away. They'd swim away. You're like, Percy, you can have his feet. I'm off to have a look for something a bit fresher.
The fish would like be like, oh, toxic waters.
Yeah. So, last night we've been a lot of programs on lately because it's come up to the anniversary of 9/11. And we got watching a program, didn't we, last night?
Yeah.
Great programme. But when you see like...
So it was like camera clips, what people had took at the time. Sort of like a real account of it rather than a story being told.
Yeah, whenever you think of 9/11 or whenever I think about it, you think, okay, there's a lot of people in the towers. You don't know what they were doing. You don't know what sort of business they're into in these towers. And these planes went into the towers, obviously, and a lot of people died.
It was really shocking. I didn't know about the World Trade Centre to the degree that we found out last night. Like, the different things that they was doing in there. There's a restaurant in there. I didn't know that either.
They called it the World...
Brown Restaurant or something
No,
like that.
something Windows. Windows of the World Restaurant.
Yeah, it's like panoramic views of the whole city. It was really beautiful.
I mean, I'm not one for views like out of a skyscraper sort of thing, but when you saw the views these people from the restaurant had, I thought, wow, that'd have been lovely to eat up there.
Yeah, you really could see across the whole of like Manhattan up there. It was beautiful. And then there was another woman, and the floor was like an artist's floor, wasn't it? Like all sort of people who did like paintings of the views and everything like that. But the fact of it was the way you heard from like the families, more in depth than I would say that I've ever heard before.
Yeah, and they had like, wasn't just people who'd lost people, there was actually survivors of it. That was the sort of the idea. and there was interviewing people who'd said, yeah, okay, so I went into work at 8 o'clock, and one bloke was having a coffee, and he was reading about Mac computers, just leaning against the wall, reading on this newspaper.
Dell computers.
That was it, not Mac, Dell, sorry. And then, like, the plane. But the crazy bit was, there's obviously, everyone's seen the footage of the planes going into their buildings. The second one, pardon me.
There was one where you saw it up close, wasn't there? Like...
Yeah, somebody got footage of the but the thing is, because they didn't get it from further out, I mean, it sounds crazy, but one plane's just gone into a building, you kind of notice if another plane's gone into a building, and obviously it happened, but I'm surprised nobody's come forward yet with footage of it coming properly, like, from out the sky, coming down. You don't just go, right, it's up there in the sky, all the way up there, and then now it's going to a building. All you see is like 2 seconds of it, and then straight into the second one goes into the second tower.
So fast. And then you saw like the United 93 one, didn't you?
Yeah, and you heard from the pilot's mum.
And the pilot's name was Jordan, wasn't it?
No, Leroy.
Leroy, that was it.
And that was horrible for his mum, because there's like recordings of him saying, look, you know, we've been took over by terrorists, we're all going to die. And she's heard that recording. And like she said, but she's angry, isn't she, because so they always tell the story of how the passengers saved people on the ground and like diverted that plane by fighting off the terrorists. Yeah. She said nobody actually talks about the crew, i.e. the pilots, and what the hell did they be called? Steward, yeah, flight attendants, and the role they played in also fighting off the terrorists.
Well,
so she's quite angry about it.
So she was like, there's a bomb on the plane, and basically we've got demands and we'll meet you at the airport or something, but there was never any intentions of that.
No, that was to keep the people on the plane
calm
from fighting them. They said, look, we've took over the plane, there's a bomb on here, just sit down, we're going to divert you to an airport. And what their plan was to crash into the White House.
Yeah, Capitol Hill building, wasn't it?
Yeah, the White House, and then they diverted it by fighting them off.
But they was always going to die in the end, weren't they?
And then this one poor sod, bloody hell. I mean, like his wife said, he was going to die anyway because he was going into the building that collapsed in the end. He was a firefighter. And he didn't even make it into the building. He got out of his engine or whatever, walking towards the building with his workmates, and a woman who'd fallen out of the building, like jumped out the building, the trade centre, landed on him. Obviously, they both died instantly. But he was a big bloke. But you got somebody, don't matter how big they are, it could be a child falling from that 90 floors high. It's going to kill you if it lands.
But it's like his wife said. She said it was the South Tower that collapsed anyway. So he was going to die. He was going to die that day regardless. And she said, so people talk about like, are you angry at the woman? And she was like, no, you imagine how she felt jumping out of that. I mean, you had two options, didn't you? If you was that person in that kind of height.
Oh, yeah.
Burn to death or jump.
You could see them and you could hear them, what they were saying, like on the phones, whatever, to loved ones. They couldn't get any air in where they was because of the smoke and stuff. So they was having to literally hang out of a window. I mean, imagine that. I couldn't imagine hanging over a 3-story bloody window. Like literally hanging onto the window and leaning out.
Even our top bedroom window would scare the hell out of me.
This was 90 floors up, and all they could see on the bottom was ground or a room full of smoke and fire. So
and also, there was these firemen, so they were standing at the bottom, and you just saw them doing this. So.
Oh yeah, there's
and
one
then
that landed. Boom. Yeah, they didn't know where to look, did they?
Because you just saw all these people falling out of the window.
Horrible.
And putting yourself into that danger. A lot of them didn't know that the building was going to collapse.
No.
Because you think about a structure that big and the materials that go into a building like that, you would never have thought that it was going to crash. Sure. It was going to break down, turn into rubble. It's just horrific. And that day, I mean, I remember where I was. Me and Quinton was in this house and we was watching TV. And I was like, wow, look what's happening. I'll never forget that day. Where was you? Do you remember?
I just walked in from college, I think. And I flicked on the television. I was like, Mum, Okay, because over here, it must have been about 1 or 2 o'clock, something like that. Over there, I mean, you're better with American times to England. Over there, it was 9, about 9 o'clock over there. 8:30, 9 o'clock.
It was daytime.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was like early afternoon, about 1, 2 o'clock. And as I was watching the news, they reported like the second plane going into the building. It was as they was filming, like doing the reports.
Yeah, well, I saw
the second one going like live. I was like, Mum, a second plane's just going to. Oh, what the hell? There's one couple who came out the World Trade Center, and they fell from the 90th floor or whatever it was, and they was holding each other. It was like a couple together.
They wrapped their arms around each other and decided to go for it, didn't they?
And that's how they landed, was them two holding each other. I mean, you imagine what you must be going through your head when you're like, it says me name, just for instance. Hey, look, we've got to go. And I mean, you're not going to make it. You can't believe you're going to make it.
You know you're going to die. However, from what I know about smoke inhalation, so to speak, I don't know whether I'd have chose to suffocate, because the thought of jumping in from that height, I know that eventually, it's like, unfortunately, you know, when you kind of, you know, people in cars, the way they commit, you know, they put the pipe inside, you do end up kind of in some sort of euphoria to a degree, apparently. Like when you're drowning, that's what I've heard on a lot of things. You can, at first it's like a really intense pain, but then you go all a bit delirious. So I think I'd prefer. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't know what to do here, but the thought of jumping out of a 93rd floor building.
Well, they said like you could hear the people screaming from obviously where they was all the way down. Like this one woman was heard screaming all the way down, and up until just before she landed. You just imagine what's going through your head at that point when you.
I think what the worrying thing is now. God. Obviously, we've all seen what's been going on. Obviously in Afghanistan. I think that's now for the likes of people in America in these big buildings and things like that. That is going to be a whole new start again, isn't it? Of worry.
Yeah, I think imagine like people when they first start to go back in them buildings, but also at the same time, there's a lot more air security nowadays. Like they patrol the airs a lot better.
I think as well in the days after, you imagine like being near the Empire State Building, things like that. For a long time.
Yeah, for a long time. Well, there was one lady, and she was interviewed last night. She was like a Navy pilot, and her job and her friend's job was basically the plane that had been took, United 93, the one that crashed into the field. Her job and her friend's job was to go up there in their Navy jet or whatever the hell it was, and basically
ram the plane,
knowing full well they would die as well. And that they was saying goodbye to all their friends and loved ones in an instant, they'd be dead.
Because obviously it was going into the White House, their job is government
to
protection.
Avert it.
And so they was going to go up and ram the plane. She was like, I'll take the tail, you take the front.
But before they could even get up there in the air, they didn't know this till afterwards. They actually went to do it. And it turned out when they looked at the timeline, the plane had already been brought down in a field. Because it was obviously like crashed earlier than it was meant to.
If you've ever seen the film, there is a film called United 93, and it's practically like mirror image events that took place in the plane. And they was in the plane, the terrorists obviously, and the guys in the plane, a few of them decided to sort of ram raid the terrorists, didn't they, and get them all. And basically, instead of going into the White House, which was their intention, they was going to all die, but they ended up in a field. But
they all died in the field, but there was nothing left of them when they actually went to look at the investigators and the police and stuff. Because of all the fuel on a plane and everything else that goes into making a plane, as it hit, everything was just eviscerated. Because like we're made up of liquid, ain't we? Liquid and bloody skin. There's nothing compared to the heat that comes from aeroplane fuel when it's lit on fire.
Unfortunately, it was like, you know, they cooked, didn't they, so to speak. They burned to death instantly.
They just melted. There was just bits of skin and a few bits of bone.
Well, it's unfortunately like when we are mammals, aren't we, so to speak? And when you put like animals, when you cook an animal, I know it sounds bad, but that's the whole idea in it. It's like you cook meat, and we are essentially like that, and it gets burnt, doesn't it? And That's the horrible thing. However, though, I personally think that might have been a slight blessing in disguise, because if the people had have had a view of these dead people on the floor, I mean, that'd be horrific, wouldn't it, for the...
Yeah, definitely. Well, unfortunately...
And there was the other guy as well, wasn't there? It was like... So in that restaurant that Lee was talking about before, there was like a dad and he had 3 sons. Yeah. And the middle son basically died, didn't he, in the restaurant?
Yeah, he was there for like a corporate event he'd been invited to.
And basically, they found certain parts of his collarbone and sent it to them.
What it was.
They sent the collarbone back to the family so they could have a little, like, ashes.
Yeah, that's all they had of him in the end, because there was just nothing left of his remains. But unfortunately, we do live in a world where America and, you know, obviously over the years they've sort of, you know, it's very biased about things, aren't we? It's America, like we've sort of associate America with England a lot of the time.
They are allies, though, aren't we, America and Britain?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, though, this sort of thing happens on a daily basis. Not so much terrorist attacks where, like, British or Americans go and plant bombs in big buildings in Afghan and stuff, but like the amount of Afghan people and Iraqi people, innocent children and women and children.
Well, we've only seen all in the news, haven't we, recently, about the horrific scenes that are happening. Things
happen all the time, like when they're bombed over there by Americans and by the British and stuff. So it's terrible, of course it is.
I just think at the moment, with everything that's going on, the world is a real scary place again.
Pretty horrible.
And unfortunately, it doesn't matter what people say out there. They're human beings, you know, children. It's just horrible. We're very, very, very lucky.
You're best to get a dog and do your shopping at Lidl and stay indoors. Don't mess with things you shouldn't be messing with.
I have to say, like going off subject, those sausages I would highly recommend.
Yeah, I thought they were really nice. 1 or 2 tiny bits of gristle in mine.
Yeah, I haven't really got a problem with that, whereas some people have. If you've got a problem with like that sort of stuff, you will not like that, because there was a bit. But the taste was really, really nice.
Really good. And Barney has had my one. He loved it. He had my third one. And if you know what I'm doing with the egg, he's eating the egg as well. Because Barney gets a
I don't know why Lee cooks himself bacon.
Just so it was on the plate, so I'd have something extra to look at. You can have it, it's not been touched by anything.
Where was them tomatoes from?
That was a beef tomato from Lidl. 37p for one.
Do you know they're actually 80p at Sainsbury's for one?
That is why Sainsbury's is a piss take and Lidl is Scandinavian for cheap tomatoes.
They've done a price match now, Sainsbury's have. With the peppers anyway, I know. There was like, compared to Aldi's 30-odd packs of peppers.
Alright, so in future I'll do my shopping at Aldi and I'll just pop to Sainsbury's where I need the peppers, because it's the same price but better quality.
Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we've talked a bit more serious things today, because it is obviously coming up to the anniversary of 9/11, and it's still horrific 20 years later. Like I say, we remember where we was. Some of you younger people obviously have probably got educated in schools, I should imagine, about it, but it was a horrific time, and it'll never go away, will it? That feeling of, you know, you just remember sitting there watching it. But it's good to talk sometimes, isn't it, about the things in life that we've experienced and seen.
Our future videos, like our next one, it's going to be a bit more fun.
Is it what you got planned?
Tiddlywinks. I don't know, but I just normally sort of think of things on the spot. Unlike Steven Spielberg, I just come up with bloody Close Encounters on the spot on the back of a matchbox.
Did you? I watched that the other
I've never seen it in my life.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. No, it was with
Steven Spielberg.
No, but what was that guy's name?
Hugh Hefner. Who?
Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh right, I've never watched it. I've tried to.
You did not.
I tried to.
You went to sleep. You went. What are you watching? You never even. You looked at it and cussed me.
I've also tried to watch Star Wars again.
Just give up.
I have given up on Star Wars. Do you know I found out this thing? If you're still watching, guys, you might be interested in it, so you might not. So you know the Star Wars movies, not the early ones you like. You know they did the other ones.
Prequel.
With what's his name? Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson were in it. There's the young kid. I think he played like young Anakin or something like that. He was only a little tiny kid.
Blonde hair.
Yeah, like curtains and whatnot. It's like on TikTok the other day. It's like child stars who have gone wrong or had a sad child star sort of thing. So he was like meant to be the next big thing in movies. He was given this huge role, but at the time when the movies were released, I didn't know, so I never watched them. He was absolutely slighted. Bear in mind, he was like 8 years old for his acting. All the Star Wars fans said he's awful, he's crap, he plays the part terribly. And he went through after that, like, really bad depression. Ended up in, like, youth detention centres, prisons, threatened one of his family members, doing drugs, tried to kill himself.
That's horrible.
Yeah, for a lot of years. He worked till, like, recently, the last couple of years, I think, where he's doing a lot better. But for about 15 years after the movies, he just went off the rails.
That's horrific.
It happens to a lot of these child stars. It's just so much pressure.
Look at Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
I mean, bloody hell, he went through it, didn't he?
Look at me.
Oh, yeah, you was on Disney Channel with Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, I was always called in school. I was told I looked like the Milky Bar Kid.
Well, if you actually like...
Milky Bar Kid is strong and tough.
Yeah.
Laters.
And Harry Potter when you wore glasses.
Yeah, I was told once I could look like Harry Potter. I think that was just
being nasty.
I just took that as a compliment. I was like, I wish I was. I wish I had his money.
Honestly, it's awful that is that because that film, I don't think you'll be able to watch that now.
Well, probably, I wouldn't ever want to watch a film I was in.
I wonder if, like, the cast of Harry Potter...
If they enjoy
sit there with their partners and go, oh, should we just watch Harry Potter?
I reckon they're probably that irritated about it. And something like Kristen Stewart.
No, I don't think they do because obviously them two are fella, haven't they? What's his name?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson and it.
But I think they're probably annoyed because there's such good series, in my opinion, Harry Potter and the Twilight films. You can never sit and enjoy them now if you're in them.
Oh, what? Oh, I thought you was I thought you
No, you do enjoy them. I enjoy them. But if you starred in them, if you was Professor McGonagall or something, or Hagrid, yeah, you'd never be able to sit down and just watch it and enjoy it.
But why?
Because you'd be like, oh God, I can't watch this scene. It's where, I'm in it and I won't want to watch myself on TV. I never watch me on here.
They might absolutely sit down and go, God, I love myself on that telly.
That is ridiculous if they do that. That is egotistical to the point of being egotistical.
So you're telling me that if you've made a film, you don't want to watch it?
A lot of people don't, I was talking to Tom Cruise the other day at Bull Ring.
Honestly, I'm not joking, you guys. He's here all the time now. He's in the Bull Ring at the moment filming
Mission Impossible 44.
Yeah, because they've turned the upstairs Grand Central into Dubai Airport.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi Airport.
Yeah, so and someone, trust it to come from where we're from, more or less, someone teethed his Beamer and then they found it round the back of a takeaway somewhere, but someone stole Tom Cruise's BMW.
Imagine if it was like an Uber food driver or a takeaway driver and they just delivered your food. You open the door like, what's a nice car in it? Then you find out in the news Tom Cruise just had his Beamer nicked. And actually, it's just been used to deliver food.
It's funny though because he went to a restaurant that I went to, an Indian restaurant in Birmingham, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's just Tom Cruise," because you was like, wasn't you like, he's like a superstar.
He is, but he's still Tom Cruise who's got to eat shit and shave, He still does.
You who said it? Tom Cruise is a superstar.
Yeah, but you've still got to do what everyone else does.
You got red.
You're still going to go out and buy a pint of milk every so often.
Harrison Ford at the moment, yesterday, did a shop in Waitrose in London.
I should hope so. Is Harrison Bloody Ford? Nobody knows who he is
anymore.
No,
but he's filming Indiana Jones at the moment here, I think. But obviously he got an injury and he just goes around walking around London. Put it off on there. You know, I mean, if you're below 20, tell me if you know who Harrison Ford is. And I bet you don't. Guaranteed, unless you like Star Wars and Indiana Jones. I don't know Bette Davis is name, but I know the name. Bette Davis.
That's where I know it from.
No, but she was an actress or
I know that, but if she turned up at my door delivering my Chinese, I wouldn't say, all right, Bette Davis. I wouldn't know who she was. Lou. I know she's probably passed away, unfortunately, but I wouldn't recognise her.
Yeah, but that was a different era to what.
So was Harrison Ford to 20-year-olds.
No, he's making a new Indiana Jones. A lot of people will know that film.
Anyways, we've got to go, guys. It's
what's the other one? He was Han Solo in Star Wars.
Yeah, he was. I know.
Hang on a minute. Did you know about Star Wars when you was 8? Yes, you did.
What about it?
Why wouldn't other people know?
Because I don't know. I don't know. I ain't got the time to debate it.
It's a world-famous trilogy.
What is?
Star Wars. Those first 3 was...
Oh, God, I hate them. The first 3, anyway. But I want to enjoy the new ones, but apparently you got to watch the old ones.
You have, of course you have.
But I can't do it. It's
only because they make you go to sleep.
Cardboard robots and stuff.
Cardboard? There wasn't cardboard.
They look like a lot of it's made out of cardboard, and it's just not believable. And walking
it wasn't made of... C-3PO was made of metal.
I'm your father. All that stuff. No,
well, then don't watch any of it.
But I like the newer ones. I watched 2 of them. They're great. I did go to the cinema to watch the very last one, of the new ones. So the number 6. So they had the first 3, then they released another 3, and I went to the cinema 3 times to watch the third one. And I slept through it every time.
I think they're overkilling now the Fast and the Furious films a little.
But as long as you got The Rock and you got what's his name, Vin Diesel, and you got Jason Statham, they'll keep making.
Helen Mirren was dancing with Vin Diesel the other day.
She's living her best life.
Driving that McLaren. Whew.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've said goodbye ages ago.
Yeah, we've got to go,
We're just babbling now. This is what we're doing, but we're forgetting the camera's there. We're just like...
Yeah, let's stop.
Bye, Anne.
All right, bye, everyone.
Bye.